Welcome back. He's here, the man, the myth, the legend, Will Worsham. Good to see you, Will.
It's good to be here.
All right.
Thank you.
Speaking legal, you ready for anything today? No, I know. We were talking a little bit earlier about gift giving.
Yeah.
And there are things, I mean, people ask questions about that. What's supposed to be just a giving can turn into a mess at times.
Well, you don't always think about there being a legal ramification to giving gifts, but there can be. First of all, you can use gifting as a part of an estate plan.
Right.
So you can be going ahead and proactively giving things away while you're alive. We actually call those inter vivos gifts.
Inter vivos.
Yeah, that's
what I've always heard.
That's what you always call them
I
too.
learn something new every day.
If it's, that just means during
life.
Yeah.
Right,
Yes.
during life. And so sometimes when we do an estate plan, we have to provide for inter vivos gifts, because if one beneficiary got an inordinate amount of benefit gifts during their life, then at the time that an estate plan is distributed, sometimes we want to balance those things out a little bit. So sometimes we use inter vivos planning, gifting, both before and after the benefactors pass away. But we are entering into the gift-giving season, so it seemed a little bit relevant to talk about that.
Let's talk about one. I know, again, it was something that we mentioned. A holiday season, there are a larger number of proposals that take place during holiday season.
It does happen. Of course, the general rule is a gift is irrevocable. You know, once you give someone a gift, you've given it away. They can't come and take it back. That defeats the purpose of it being a gift. But those proposal gifts, they have a little different nuance to them. Most,
do they?
Yeah, most courts, even in Missouri, deem those to be conditional gifts. You were given that engagement ring in exchange for the promise of going through with the wedding.
And we call that quid pro quo.
To some extent, yeah. We're just throwing around the Latin today. Exactly.
I never thought about the legal side of that.
Yes.
I just thought it would be the right thing to do to give it back.
Well, there's actually legal precedent that if the recipient of the engagement ring calls off the wedding, then the giver of the engagement ring has the right to get it back. Legally, can go to court and sue to get that ring back.
Does it matter if the giver calls it off?
It does. Yeah, that's the next caveat. If it turns out that the giver of the ring is responsible for the wedding being called off, of course that can get really messy. What does that mean? Being responsible for the wedding being called off, then the recipient has a right to keep that wedding ring. That's actually a little nuance. It's particular to Missouri.
That sounds like someone who breaks the bond is the one who's going to lose the merchandise, so to
That's
speak.
well put. Yeah, that's exactly right.
And I would say that if you take it to court, chances of our let's stay friends is not going to happen too much.
Not so much.
I'm not sure calling off a
sounds
wedding
nasty.
ever is going to result in a let's stay friends scenario. It doesn't seem very, very likely.
Right.
But that's just, it's one example. It's the prime example of a gift that's actually is revocable, because it is a conditional gift based on that promise, but then it's sort of the bad actor that's going to lose out when it comes to court.
Now, as far as, when you're talking about estate planning, are there limits that you have to just kind of be aware of? You can't just go and give your whole fortune away to one person.
Well, there aren't really any limits to estate planning, but there are tax ramifications that you have to get involved in.
And those have changed through the years,
Oh, yeah,
right?
they go up and they go down. Typically, they go up. But it's not something that most people really have to worry about unless you're giving away large portions of land or something like that. Typically, what you're going to run into in a Christmas gift-giving season is not going to run afoul of estate tax regulations.
So in other words, don't go to Google, go to an expert.
Right.
Kind of like, okay.
Exactly.
Hey, if people want more information from you, how do they get it, Will?
Yeah, the best way is just email me here at the station, wworsham@color10.com.
Very good. Thanks for being with us.
Thank
Glad
you
to
very
meet
much.
you. He'll answer your
Interesting
questions.
stuff. Yep. Well, up next, Bruce Porter joins us for this week's Dollars and Cents discussion.
We'll be right back.